Students, myself Himakshi and today I'm going to start with you the classes for class 11 which will cover the three boards which is CBSE, ICSE and the newly formed our state board. Fine. So as we all know, class 11 or juntu amar portion hoy, he portion to duta bhagot bhogwa hoise, part A or part B, right? Part 8, we will have to learn about introductory microeconomics. And in part B, we will learn about statistics. And in today's class, we will start with the first chapter of introductory microeconomics. Fine. As the name suggests, let me give you a brief idea of what might we be expecting in microeconomics. Fine. মাইক্ৰ'ইকনমিক্স বুলি ক'লে আমি কি বুজি পাওঁ এতিয়া মাইক্ৰ'ইকনমিক্স শব্দটোত প্ৰথম শব্দটো কি আছে মাইক্ৰ' আৰু মাইক্ৰ'ত আই যোনটো হয় ইট ষ্টেণ্ডছ ফৰ ইণ্ডিভিজুৱেল ফাইন এতিয়া মাইক্ৰ'ইকনমিক্স ডিলছ উইথ ইণ্ডিভিজুৱেল ইউনিটছ অফ দ্য ইকনমি ফাইন তাৰমানে কি কৈছে এটা ইকনমিত মাইক্ৰ'ইকনমিক্সে কি পঢ়ে ইণ্ডিভিজুৱেল ইউনিটছবিলাকৰ বিষয়ে পঢ়ে হয়নে It do not study the aggregates. It's to do not study the economy as a whole. It study individual units of the economy instead. Fine. So this is what we are going to learn in microeconomics, where we will study about the individual units of the economy, how the market works, how the economy works, what are the various reasons for which we need to study economics. And all these things will be dealt in today's class in particular because it is ami economics or student hisabe economics poribo aisu we will have to know the reason behind studying economics tamane ami enekwa jikono eta chapter we should not study economics just because it is included in our syllabus, just because it is given as an optional subject in our school or college. We should know the reason behind. Tamane ami subject tour jitia jetu tumaloke class 11 class 10 loi junkhon economics tumaloke pori ahisa etiar junkhon economics so it has a vast difference, right? So when we are taking economics as an optional subject for your class 11 exam or basically ami class 12 loke economics loi jam, we will have to know why we need to study economics in particular. What is the reason behind? And when we understand the reason behind studying economics, we will fall in love with the subject in the sense that we will be willing to know more about the subject. Amar mindot eta inquisitiveness mane jagibo janar karone je ki economics hoy kiyo মানে ইকনমিক্স হয় কি ইকনমি মানে কি হয় বা হোৱাট ইজ দ্য জেনেচিছ অফ ষ্টাডিং ইকনমিক্স আমি ইয়াতে পৰা কি এক্সপেক্ট কৰিব পাৰোঁ উই শুড ন' ডেট এণ্ড ফৰ ডেট ৰিজন তোমালোকৰ মাইক্ৰ' ইকনমিক্সৰ ফাৰ্ষ্ট যোনটো চেপ্টাৰ হয় ইট ইজ টাইটেলড ইণ্ট্ৰডাক্টৰী মানে মাইক্ৰ' ইকনমিক্সৰ যোনটো ফাৰ্ষ্ট চেপ্টাৰ হয় ইট ইজ টাইটেলড ইণ্ট্ৰডাকশ্যন টু মাইক্ৰ' ইকনমিক্স বুজি পাইছা তোমালোকৰ যোনটো ফাৰ্ষ্ট চেপ্টাৰ হয় সেইটো কাৰণে তাতে নামটো কি দিয়া আছে ইন্ট্ৰডাকশ্যন টু মাইক্ৰ'ইকনমিক্স ৱেৰ we will basically learn about economy, we will basically learn the reason behind why we need to study economics and তোমালোকক মই ক'ব পাৰোঁ যে কি আজিৰ ক্লাছটোৰ পৰা তোমালোকে মাইণ্ডত আৰু ইনকুইজিটিভনেছ ডেভেলপ কৰিবা to know more about this subject because it will give you an opportunity to learn about the system of which we are part of. And it will also help us to know the system of which we are part of and which is helping us to earn a living in return. Fine. So let's start with the first chapter of microeconomics, which is an introduction to microeconomics as a whole. Fine. Okay. So let's move to the first slide. Where we will learn about what is an economy. যেনেকে মই তোমালোকক কৈছো যে কি ইকনমিক্স জানাৰ আগতে আমি গম পাব লাগিব যে ইকনমিক্স ইজ সামথিং which deals with the economy in which we are operating, and for that we'll have to know about the meaning of economy. So what is economy? Economy is a system which provides people the means to work and earn a living. This is the system. এই যোনটো সিস্টেমত আমাক অফাৰ কৰিছে বা এটা মিনছ প্ৰভাইড কৰিছে যোনটোৰ থ্ৰুৰে আমি কাম কৰিব পাৰোঁ। And because we are doing that work, it is also paying us such that we can earn our living. আমি আমাৰ লাইভলিহুডত পইচা খৰচ কৰি পেলাই আমি জীয়াই থাকিবলৈ পাৰোঁ। Fine? So it is economy. It is a system that helps us to find work, and because we are working, we are contributing towards it. It is also helping us to earn a living through the way of income. I hope this much is clear with you. Let's move to the next slide. In the next slide, we will learn about what are the vital processes of an economy. Ite economy je moi kolu je ki economy ama ki hoy কাম available কৰি দিয়ে, সেই কামখিনিৰ পৰা আমি পইচা আৰ্ন কৰিব পাৰোঁ। এটা যে সেই কাম কৰিব পাৰোঁ, কাম কিহৰ কাৰণে কৰোঁ বা কাম কৰাৰ কি ৱে আছে, that can be divided into or that can be broken down into three phases or three vital processes. The number one process is production. হয়নে? আমি যে কাম কৰোঁ, আমি যে ইকনমিত কাম কৰিছো, কিহৰ কাৰণে কাম কৰিছো? Because we are producing something. হয়নে? And why are we producing? Because when we produce goods and services, there are a section of the society who will consume that goods. Fine? And in this process of production and consumption, there is another process which is investment or capital formation. So what is investment or capital formation? Ajir dinot I am running a firm which is producing various units of pen, column. Fine. If I want to grow my business and if I want to increase the productivity, moi ki koribo lagibo? Moi investment koribo lagibo. হয়নে? এটা মই যিমানে ইনভেষ্টমেন্ট কৰো সিমানে বেছি কি হ'ব মোৰ লগত। এটা সাপোজ মই যিমান ইনভেষ্টমেন্ট কৰো, যিমান টকাৰ ইনভেষ্টমেন্ট কৰো, when we change investment, there will be more and more capital formation. So what does the word capital formation means? The word capital formation means যে কি আমি কি কৰি আছো, পইচা যে ইনভেষ্ট কৰি আছো, সেই পইচাটোৰ পৰা আমি মেবি ল্যান্ড কিনিছো, সেই পইচাটোৰ পৰা আমি মেবি মেচিনাৰী কিনিছো, হয়নে? সেই পইচাটোৰ পৰা মেবি আমি বিল্ডিং বনাইছো। And all these are what? All these are capital. All these are nothing but capital. And because we are investing, when we are spending more money, we are also accumulating. We are also earning back a capital in our hand. Tamane, when we are investing, we are spending money, it is not going to waste. In turn, it is helping us to form capital. And that capital will again help us to increase our production. হয়নে? আৰু আমি জানো আমি এটা বস্তু we know a theory য'ত কি কৈছে যে তোমাৰ য'ত কি কৈছে যে কি population is increasing at an increasing rate. আমি জানো যে কি in today's generation population is increasing at an increasing rate. হয়নে? Population is increasing at an increasing rate. Fine. The population is increasing at an increasing rate, but production of food, supply of food is not being able to keep up the pace of increase in production, population. Population increase hoye goye ase, he population khini ye khabo para ke goods produce hobo para nai. Jar karne investment or capital formation is an important process which will help to increase the capital available with the firm, which will ultimately help to increase production, which will ultimately help to meet the consumption demand in an economy. And therefore, the economy has three vital processes broken down into production, consumption, and investment or capital formation. I hope this much is very much clear with you. Fine. Let's move to the next topic in the next slide. In the next slide, let us understand যে মই তোমালোকক স্টাৰ্টিংতে কৈছিলো যে কি তোমালোকে যে আজি ইকনমিক্স পঢ়িব আহিছা, যেহেতু তোমালোকে ক্লাছ 11 ৰ ষ্টুডেন্ট হয় আৰু you are you are coming to learn this subject by uh, by having a notion of what we have learned economics in class 10, right? Class 10 ত আমি যি শিকিছিলো সেইখিনিৰ ভিত্তিত আমি আজি ইকনমিক্স শিকিব আহিছো। কিন্তু ক্লাছ যেতিয়া আমি 10 লৈকে ইকনমিক্স শিকিছো তাত আমাক কেতিয়াও কৈ দিয়া নাই যে আমি ইকনমিক্স কিয় পঢ়িব লাগে, হয়নে? তাত বিভিন্ন ধৰণৰ চেপ্টাৰৰ থ্ৰুৰে আমাক ইকনমিৰ বেলেগ বেলেগ প্ৰচেছেছ বা ইকনমিৰ বিভিন্ন ধৰণৰ এছপেক্টছবিলাক বুজাব ট্ৰাই কৰিছে। But since we have grown up, since we are taking economics as an individual subject, which is again a very in today's world, it is very interesting subject, and as well as it's quite demanding, right? So we'll have to know যে আমি কিহৰ কাৰণে economics পঢ়িব লাগে, আমি economics পঢ়িব কিয় লাগে, why do we need to study economics? Fine. So the main reason for studying economics is scarcity. ফাইন, আমি ইকনমিক্স কিয় পঢ়িব লাগে? কাৰণ ইকনমিত বা এই যোনটো চিষ্টেম হয় এই চিষ্টেমটোত কি আছে? স্কেৰচিটি আছে। স্কেৰচিটি কিহৰ কাৰণে আছে? লেট আছ আন্ডাৰষ্টেণ্ড। হিউমেন ওৱান্টছ আৰ কি হয়? মোৰ দেন ৰিচোৰ্চেছ, আৰু ৰিচোৰ্চেছ আৰ কি হয়? স্কেৰছ। তাৰমানে আমাৰ যোনবোৰ ওৱান্ট হয়, আমাৰ ওৱান্টবিলাক কি হয়? বহুত বেছি আনলিমিটেড হয়। কিন্তু আমাৰ ওৱান্টৰ কম্পেৰিজনত সেই ওৱান্টবোৰ ছেটিছফাই কৰিবলৈ কাৰণে ইকনমিখনত যিমান ৰিচোৰ্চেছ আছে, ডেট ৰিচোৰ্চেছ ফলছ বিহাইণ্ড আৱাৰ নিড, হয়নে? তাৰমানে আমাৰ যদি ৰিচোৰ্চ আছে ইমানখিনি, আমাৰ ওৱান্ট আছে ইমানখিনি, ফাইন। তাৰমানে কি? এইখিনি আমাৰ কি আছে? স্কেৰচিটি। চ' দিছ মাছ স্কেৰচিটি আমাৰ লগত বৰ্তমান আছে, right? So scarcity economics আমি কিয় পঢ়িব লাগে? Because economic কি আছে? Scarcity আছে। Scarcity কিহৰ কাৰণে আছে? Human wants are unlimited, কিন্তু the resources to satisfy that human want are scarce or limited in nature. Fine. Therefore, economics is concerned with selection of resources under the condition of scarcity. So economics in that case, economics he scarcity thaka condition or ki poribo khuje, economics ki poribo khuje, economics poribo khuje je amar jiman khini limited resources ase সেই limited resource khini ami keneke select korim, keneke ami best possible way select korim under the condition that those resources are not endlessly available to us, those resources are scarce in nature, there is scarcity in the economy. Fine. So economics ki deal kore? Economics deals with how we will make use of the resources under the condition that there is scarcity in the economy. Fine. Buji paisa? Let's move to the next slide. In the next slide, let us understand what is scarcity. Eimatro ami je porilu je ami economics kihor kane poribo lage? Ami economics এই কাৰণে পঢ়িব লাগে because economic কি আছে? Scarcity আছে, right? আৰু economic scarcity কিহৰ কাৰণে আছে? Human wants unlimited হয়, resources scarce হয়, আৰু গতিকে economics under the condition of scarcity কেনেকে আমি resource select কৰিম সেই বস্তুটোৱে পঢ়াই বুলি আমি গম পালো। Fine. Now let us know what is scarcity. So scarcity means limitation of supply in relation to demand of the commodity. মই মাত্ৰ যে ক'লো human wants কি হয়? Unlimited হয়। Human want unlimited মানে কি? demand for various resources কি হয়? Unlimited হয়। কিন্তু সেই demand বিলাক satisfy কৰিব কাৰণে supply is limited. Supply is limited. I hope this much is clear with you. Demand unlimited, supply is limited. As a result, there is presence of the problem called scarcity. Fine. It is scarcity of resources calls for economizing of resources. It is because resource or scarcity as in the economy, therefore it gives emphasis to the aspect called economizing of resources. I mean resource economize koribo lage. Now what is economizing resources? Economizing of resources refers to making optimum use of the available resources. তাৰমানে আমাৰ লগত যিমানখিনি available resource আছে সেইখিনিটো already limited হয় আমাৰ লগত যিমানখিনি resources available আছে সেইখিনি কি হয় limited হয় নাইবা scarce resources হয় Now what does economizing resources do economizing of resources means how do we make use of this limited or scarce resource such that we have optimum result from it such that we have optimum derivation of output from it fine আমাৰ লগত যদি ৰিসোর্সেস ধেৰ থাকিলে হয় আনলিমিটেড থাকিলে হয় তেতিয়া আমাৰ জতে মন টতে আমি ৰিসোর্স কি কৰিব পাৰিলো হয় ইউজ কৰিব পাৰিলো হয় একো অসুবিধা নাছিলে ৰাইট কিন্তু যেহেতু এটা ৰিসোর্স আৰু তেতিয়া আমি যিমান মন হিমান প্ৰডাকশন কৰিব পাৰিলো হয় ৰাইট কিন্তু এতিয়া যেটো ৰিসোর্স আমাৰ লগত কি আছে লিমিটেড আছে This limited resource or scarce resource calls for using or making optimum use of it. And that process through which we can make optimum use of the available scarce resource is said to be as economizing of resources. I hope I'm being able to make each of these new concepts clear with you. Fine, let's move to the next slide. Here we will learn about the fact that scarcity is not the only problem in the economy. Right? আমি কি পঢ়িছিলো যে economics আমি the very beginning of the idea of studying economics was related to scarcity because economic scarcity আছে আমি সেইকাৰণে economics পঢ়িব আহিছিলো কিন্তু ইয়াতে কৈছে scarcity is not the only problem কিয় resources have alternate use এইটো এটা বেলেগ এটা problem মানে number 1 is scarcity of resources is one of the problem but it is not the only problem the second problem is that limited resource or scarce resource also has some alternative uses which means resources can be put to more than one use eta resource ami বেলেগ কামত ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিব পাৰো এটা যদি আমি এটা ৰিসোর্স বেলেগ কামত ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিব পাৰো আৰু because that resource is not available in unlimited quantity with us we will have to make a decision in our mind regarding আমি সেই ৰিসোর্সটো exactly কোনটো কামত ব্যৱহাৰ কৰিলে আমাৰ বেছি লাভ হ'ব বুজি পাইছা we will have to make a choice between whether to use this resource this way or that way fine বুজি পাইছা যেনেকে for example ইয়াতে দি আছে we all know petrol কি হয় scarce in relation to its demand petrol কিহৰ কাৰণে scarce in relation to its demand because petrol is obtained from petroleum হয়নে আৰু generation of petroleum petroleum is again formed from fossils and fuel আৰু formation of fossil and fuel or পৰা যেতিয়া মানে তোমাৰ petroleumৰ যোনটো formation years হয় it takes more than 100 years হয়নে more than 1000 years হয়নে যেহেতু it takes so longer to generate it is scarce in nature in resource it is a scarce resource in nature fine therefore আমি কি গম পালো পেট্রোল is scarce resource কিন্তু আমি এটো কথা জানো যে পেট্রোল has a lot of demand মানে আমি পেট্রোলক বেলেগ কাৰণত ডিমান্ড কৰো বুজি পাইছা মানে it is scarce in nature but we demand petrol for various aspects of our life মানে এতিয়া যেনেকে for example there is one more problem in addition to its scarcity ta মানে first problem to ami gom paisu economic first problem to etu hoye je ki resource is scarcity resource is scarce limited in nature above it he is into limited scarce resource hoy which is petrol it also has alternate uses what are its alternate uses it is not only used in vehicles but it is also used in machines railway engines airplanes generators etc Therefore, since this resource is not available to us in unlimited extent, therefore we will have to make a decision, and that decision is nothing but choice. We'll have to make choice. We'll have to make choice between which possible in which possible way we will make use of petrol such that we can get optimum result from it, optimum benefit from it. I hope this much is clear with you. Ki palu, let me give you a brief idea. Number one is that the problem here is that resources are scarce. Resources are scarce. Aru, this problem of scarcity is not the only problem in the economy. The next best problem is that scarce resources also have alternative uses. And because of these two problems, it gives rises to the problem of choice. What is choice? We will have to make a decision between which work we are going to use the resources in. Fine. For example, আমি কি গম পালো petrol limited in supply compared to its demand, therefore it is scarce. Problem number one. Number two, it is not only used in vehicles, but it is used in engines, it is used in railway, it is used in machines, etc. etc. Therefore, since it has alternative uses, we will have to make a decision which is called problem of choice, in which we will have to make a decision about where we will put our scarce resources to, such that it gives us the optimum benefit. Fine. Tamane, the problem of scarcity ultimately gives rises to the problem of choice in the economy. I hope this much is clear with you. Fine. If we are clear till here, now let us understand what do you mean by economic problem. Let us understand what do we mean by economic problem. So what is economic problem? It is a problem of choice. Economic problem to ki hoy eta problem of choice hoy, which involves satisfaction of unlimited wants out of the limited resource that has alternative uses. Tinta bostu ase. Yate ki ase, number one, je ki human wants are unlimited. Hoy na, human wants are unlimited wants ase. Number two, resource ki hoy limited hoise. Ki koise, resources are limited. Resources are limited, kintu it will have to satisfy unlimited juntu one. Resources are limited, but it will have to satisfy unlimited one. But in that case, there is problem of scarcity. Mane resources are scarce, mane juntu scarcity problem. Apart from the problem of scarcity or limited resource, these resources have alternative uses. I hope you are being able to follow me. Yate tinta bostu likhiso. Ami jano je ki resource unlimited nohoy. Hoy na, ami jano ki unlimited hoy, once amar unlimited hoy. Kintu resources ki hoy, limited hoy. Resources limited mane ki, there is problem of scarcity. Resources are scarce. Aru he scarce resource khini rako alternative uses ase. And because there is alternative uses, it gives rise to a problem of choice. And that problem of choice that arises because of these three reasons, unlimited wants, resources are limited, and alternative uses, give rises to the problem of economic problem. So economic problem is nothing but it is a problem of choice which involves satisfaction of unlimited wants under the condition that the resources are limited. Fine. And that limited resource also have alternative uses, because of which as an individual ki koribo lagibo, choice make koribo lagibo. And that problem of choice is nothing but economic problem. I hope this much is clear with you. In this diagram, Swaswan, in this diagram, let us understand this in a more simplified way. Fine. In this diagram, আমি কি চাইছো যে ইকোনমিক প্রবলেম কিহৰ কাৰণে হয় যে কি ওয়ান্স আমাৰ কি আছে আনলিমিটেড আছে ইমাত্ৰ পালো নাম্বাৰ 1 হয়নে নাম্বাৰ 1 প্ৰবলেমটো আছিল ওয়ান্স আনলিমিটেড হয়নে নেক্সট প্ৰবলেমটো কি আছিল ৰিসোৰ্সেস কি হয় লিমিটেড হয়নে সেকেন্ড প্ৰবলেম থাৰ্ড প্ৰবলেমটো কি হয় সেই যোনখিনি লিমিটেড ৰিসোৰ্স হয় সেই লিমিটেড ৰিসোৰ্সৰ কি আছে অল্টাৰনেটিভ ইউজেস আছে আৰু বিকজ সেই ৰিসোৰ্সখিনিৰ অল্টাৰনেটিভ ইউজেস আছে it gives rise to the problem of choice হয়নে এটু গম পালো আমি resource unlimited alternative uses give rise to the problem of choice and that problem of choice is nothing but economic problem right এটা from this aspect আমি কি গম পাইছো আমাৰ wants unlimited হয় therefore not all wants can be satisfied হয়নে আমাৰ সব want আমি satisfy কৰিবলৈ নোৱাৰো আমাৰ want বেলাকৰো কি হয় scale of urgency আছে যে কি কিছুমান want আমাক বহুত জলদি পুৰা কৰিব লাগে কিছুমান want আমি কি হয় পিছত পুৰা কৰিলেও হয় and on the basis of that urgency we will make use of the resources into the way we want যেনেকে for example আজি মোক তোমাৰ বেগ লাগে আজি মোক এটা ফোন লাগে কিন্তু মই ৰেংক কৰিম যে কি মই ৰিসোৰ্স বা মোৰ পইচাখিনি কাৰণ মোৰ পইচা আনলিমিটেড নহয় মই দুটা একেলগে ল'ব নোৱাৰো because I have limited resource মই কি কৰিম I will try to make a choice between bag and phone on the basis of scale of urgency মোক কোনটো বেছি জলদি লাগে কোনটো নহলে মোক নহব suppose মই bag to choose কৰিছো হয়নে and this scale of urgency comes from the point that our wants are unlimited and not all wants can be satisfied by our resources and therefore we'll have to scale our want on the basis of its urgency and because of that we will again have to take a decision which is called problem of choice it will give rise to the problem of choice and that problem of choice is nothing but economic problem I hope this picture has narrowed down and simplified the concept of economic problem. Clear, Marco Koeso? Number 1 problem to us once unlimited. Once unlimited, we sob want satisfy Kuribon Waru. We will have to satisfy want according to the scale of urgency. And because of that, then we back phone or bitorokal etahe kinibo pari on the basis of our urgency, which will give rise to the problem of choice. And that is nothing but economic problem. Number 2, Jeki, not only human wants are unlimited, the resources are limited, and that resources are not only scarce or limited, but these resources have alternative uses, because of which we can make use of that resources only into certain alternative use, which gives us optimum result, which again gives rise to the problem of choice. That is nothing but economic problem. I hope this much is clear with you. Fine. Next, let's move to the next slide. I hope you are enjoying today's class with me. Fine. Moi jiman paru tumalukok narrow down kori concept belak bujabo try kori aso. In case of any doubt, you will have to get in touch with me. And this is just the beginning of our journey. We have a long way to go. Like miles to go before I sleep, right? There is this is a long journey. I'll be with you. You will have to be with me. Just be patient and just try to understand each of the concept that I'm teaching you wholeheartedly. Only that will make you fall in love with this subject. And once you fall in love with this subject, there is no looking back. You will only enjoy learning with me. Fine? Okay. Now let's understand what are the various reasons for economic problem. Moi imatro already tumalukok diagram to through a simplified way bujai dilu what are the various reasons of economic problem. But let us understand what are the various reasons of economic problem in details. The number 1 is because there is scarcity of resources. Why there is economic problem? Because there is scarcity of resources. তামানে যেনেকে বেলেগ বেলেগ ধৰণৰ ৰিসোৰ্সেস যেনেকে ল্যান্ড লেবার ক্যাপিটাল এটসেট্রা are limited in relation to its demand and the economy cannot produce all what people want. মানে যোনবোৰ ৰিসোর্সেস আছে ল্যান্ড হওক তোমাৰ লেবাৰ হওক ক্যাপিটাল হওক এইবোৰ ইকোনমিত কি আছে লিমিটেড এমাউন্টত আছে যদিও ইয়াৰ ডিমান্ড আনলিমিটেড হয় ইন দ্য ইকোনমি not all want can be satisfied, which means not all wants of the people can be satisfied by the resources. Point number 1. Point number 2, it is the basic reason for existence of economic problem in all economics. Scarcity is the basic problem which is prevalent in all types of economics. Because it's not like that only in certain country people have unlimited wants and resources are limited. It is relevant to any kind of economy in any part of the world. Resources hodai scarce hoy in relation to demand or want of the people. Fine. Next to ki koise scarcity is universal and applies to all individuals, organization and countries. Ematre moi kolu. It is not like the developed country scarcity nohobo, developing country ba underdeveloped country he scarcity thakibo. Nothing like that. Buji paisa? There is no thing like that. The problem of scarcity is present in all types of economies, across the globe, across the universe, across all the organization. Basic reason being once আমাৰ unlimited হয় resource scarce হয়. Fine. This gives rise to problem of scarcity in any economic system. I hope you were clear. Next ki koise there would have been no problem if resources were not scarce. তামানে এই যে ইকোনমিক প্ৰবলেমৰ বিষয়ে আমি পঢ়ি আছো বা এই যে ইকোনমিক্সত আমি এবোৰ বস্তুৰ বিষয়ে পঢ়ি আছো it would have not made any sense যদি resources were unlimited in nature. আমি ইকোনমিক্স পঢ়িব লাগাই হৈছে because there is an economic problem. Economic problem হৈছে এই কাৰণে because resources are scarce. If resources would have not been scarce, the problem of choice or the economic problem would have not existed in any kind of economy, and there would have been no reason to study economics otherwise. I hope I'm clear with you. Let's move to the second reason for economic problem. The second problem for economic problem is unlimited human wants. এইমাত্ৰ মই কি কৈছিলো আমাৰ হিউম্যান বিংবোৰ বহুত লুভিয়া হয় হিউম্যান বিংবোৰ বহুত লুভিয়া ইন দ্য সেন্স কি হয় আমাৰ ওয়ান্স বহুত বেছি হয় এটা ওয়ান খতম হয় হে নেক্সট ওয়ানটো আমাৰ আহিয়ে যায় যেনেকৈ মোৰ আজি আইসক্ৰীম খাব মন গৈছে মই আইসক্ৰীম খাই শেষ নহ'ব মানে তাৰ ওয়ানটো মই স্যাটিসফাই কৰো হে মানে আইসক্ৰীমটো খাই শেষ কৰো হে নেক্সট আকৌ মোৰ কেক খাব মনে যায় পেন এডাল মোৰ স্যাটিসফাই কৰিলেহে মোক পেন এডাল লাগিছিল আজি পেন এডাল দিলেহে কালি মোক কপি এখন লাগে তাৰমানে কি কৈছে human wants are never ending. It doesn't end. It is a spiral. It is never ending. That is, they can never be fully satisfied. তাৰমানে এজন human being কেতিয়াও fully satisfied হ'বই নোৱাৰে কি কৈছে as soon as one want is satisfied এটা one যদি আমি satisfy কৰি দিছো another new want emerges. এটা one satisfy কৰাৰ লগে লগে next আৰু এটা one satisfy মানে কৰিবলৈ কাৰণে আহি যাব যেনেকৈ মাত্ৰ কলো ন যে মই আইসক্ৰীম খাই আছো মোৰ আইসক্ৰীম বিৰাট ৰাতিপুৱাৰ পৰা খাব মন গৈছে আজি আহি পেলে মোক মায়ে আইসক্ৰীমটো আনি দিলে নেক্সট মোমেন্টত আইসক্ৰীমটো খাই উঠি মা মোৰ এটা পেস্ট্ৰি খাব মন গৈছে it is never ending as soon as one is satisfied the other arises wants of the people are unlimited so আমি কি গম পাইছো মানুহৰ want কি হয় unlimited keeping on multiplying and cannot be satisfied due to limited resources মানে মানুহৰ want to কি হৈ আছে multiply হৈছে increase হৈ হৈ গৈ আছে কিন্তু those মানে wants all the wants are not being able to be satisfied কিহৰ কাৰণে because resources are limited in nature clear human wants also differ in priorities মই অলপ আগত যে কলো কিন্তু যদিও আমাৰ আনলিমিটেড ওৱান্ট আছে সব ওৱান্টৰ আৰ্জেন্সি বা সবৰে প্ৰায়োৰিটি সেম নহয় যেনেকৈ বৰ্তমান যদি মোক আইচক্ৰীম আৰু কেক খাব মন গৈছে দুটাৰ ভিতৰত এটাহে মোৰ বেছি খাব মন গৈছে বুজি পাইছা মাই প্ৰায়োৰিটি বিটুইন দ্য বোথ ইজ নট সেম বুজি পাইছা সো কি কৈছে ইয়াতে হিউমেন ওৱান্স অলসো ডিফাৰ ইন প্ৰায়োৰিটিজ that is all ones are not equal intensity সবৰে ইন্টেন্সিটি টু সেম নহয় সবৰে আৰ্জেন্সি টু সবৰে প্ৰায়োৰিটি টু ইকুৱেল লেভেলৰ নহয় যেনেকৈ ফৰ এক্সাম্পল কৈছে যেনেকৈ ফৰ এক্সাম্পল ফৰ এভৰি ইণ্ডিভিজুৱেল সাম ওৱান্স আৰ মোৰ ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট এণ্ড আৰ্জেণ্ট এজ কম্পেয়াৰ্ড টু দ্য আদাৰ্ছ due to this reason people allocate their resources in order of preference to satisfy some of their want. If all human wants had been equal importance, then it would have become impossible to make choices. আমি ইকনমিক প্ৰবলেম থাকাৰ পিছতো আমি চইচ কিহৰ কাৰণে কৰিব পাৰিছো why are we being able to make choice between which of our want should be satisfied because we have different priorities for different ones মানে আমাক লাগে বহুত বুজিছা আমাক লাগে বহুত বেছি বস্তু কিন্তু হে যে আমাক বহুত বস্তু লাগে সব বস্তুৰে আৰ্জেন্সি সব বস্তুৰে প্ৰায়োৰিটি সেম নহয় and because of that আমাক যদি চয়েস কৰিব দিয়ে we will choose the ones on the basis of our urgency and because there is an intensity of priority intensity of magnitude of priority or intensity of there is an intensity of urgency because of this reason we are being able to make choice on which item we will make our resources being utilized in. বুজি পাইছা যদি ইয়াতে কৈছে যদি আমাৰ আনলিমিটেড ওৱান্সৰ সবৰে মানে গোটেইবোৰ ওৱান্সৰ সেম লেভেল অফ ইন্টেন্সিটি থাকিলে মানে সবকে আমাক এক্সাক্ট সেম টাইমত লাগে তেতিয়া we would not have been able to make choice between various want. Are in presence of unlimited want and limited resource, we will have to make choice. And if we are not being able to make choice, we will not be able to solve the economic problem prevalent in the economy. বুজি পাইছা therefore কিহৰ কাৰণে আমি চয়েস কৰিব পাৰিছো সব ওয়ান্টৰ সেম লেভেল অফ আৰ্জেন্সি নহয় on the basis of urgency we will make or put the resources to be used in clear the third reason for economic problem so third problem মানে যোনটো second যোনটো problem হয় last slide was let me show you this should be 3 last slide ot 2 বুলি লিখা আছিল এটো 3 হ'ব লাগে just make a little correction here etu slide ot it will be the third reason for economic problem first reason to ami ki palu scarcity hone next reason to ami ki palu the resources have alternate scarcity first reason to ami ki palu unlimited ones first reason to ami ki palu unlimited want amar bahut want ase kintu সেই ওয়ানবোৰ স্যাটিসফাই কৰিবলৈ কাৰণে আমাৰ ৰিসোৰ্সেস লিমিটেড আছে এবোৰ বস্তু কি ওয়াৰ্ড হয় মনত ৰাখি যাবা সেইবোৰ ফুলফিল কৰিব কাৰণে আমাৰ লগত কি আছে ৰিসোৰ্সেস লিমিটেড আছে আৰু সেই লিমিটেড ৰিসোৰ্সখিনি অল্টাৰনেটিভ ইউজ আছে আৰু আমি কি গম পালো ৰিসোৰ্স যে লিমিটেড হয় it gives rise to the problem of choice আৰু আমি choice কিহৰ কাৰণে কৰিব পাৰো কাৰণ because not all ones are of equal intensity সব ওয়ান্টৰ intensity same নহয় কিছুমানক আমি বেছি priority দিব পাৰো কিছুমানক কম priority দিব পাৰো because of this we can make choice হয় না কিন্তু কি কৈছে যদি এই ইকুৱেল সবৰে যদি ইকুৱেল ইন্টেন্সিটি হলে হয় সবৰে যদি এর আগে আমি ইকুৱেল ইন্টেন্সিটি কলো নেকি এটা ডিফারেন্ট ইন্টেন্সিটি হ'ব because we have different intensity for having all the resources. We have different intensity of having preferences for different resources. যদি কি কৈছে সবৰে সব প্ৰায় মানে সব ওয়ান্টৰ ইন্টেন্সিটি সেম হলে হয় সব ওয়ান্টৰ ইন্টেন্সিটি যদি ইকুৱেল হলে হয় কেনেবাকে তেনে হলে আমি প্রবলেম অফ চয়েস টু সলভ কৰিব নোৱাৰিলো হয় কাৰণ আমি গুটেই বেলাক ওয়ান স্যাটিসফাই কৰিব লাগিব আৰু গুটেই বেলাক ওয়ান স্যাটিসফাই কৰিবলৈ যাওতে we will not be able to make any choice. Therefore, since all the ones are of different intensity, we are being able to solve the problem of choice. Fine. Next, alternative use of SWA. Alternate use of SWA. Resources are not only scarce, but they can also be put to various uses. It makes a choice among resources more important. গতিকে আমাৰ দুটা বস্তু আছে suppose for example কি গম পালো আমি যে কি আমাৰ লগত দুটা বস্তু আছে যেনেকে পেট্ৰলিয়ামৰ এক্সাম্পলটো মই তোমালোকক কৈছিলো হয়নে পেট্ৰলৰ এক্সাম্পলটো এতিয়া আকৌ ইয়াতে দিয়া আছে পেট্ৰলৰ এক্সাম্পলটো মই কৈছিলো যে পেট্ৰল কি হয় স্কেয়াৰ্স হয় আৰু পেট্ৰলৰ কি আছে অল্টাৰনেটিভ ইউজেস আছে অল্টাৰনেটিভ ইউজেস আছে এই অল্টাৰনেটিভ ইউজ বেলা কি কি যে কি ইয়াক মেচিনত ইউজ কৰা হয় ইয়াক ৰেলৱে ইঞ্জিনত ইউজ কৰা হয় apart from being used in vehicles. Therefore, on the basis of priorities that we put to various want, we will put that scarce resource into only one use. Tamane, suppose alternate use ase ami vehicle use koribo paru. For example, ami bhabilo next naiba ami petrol use koribo paru machine. Fine. এটা মোৰ কাৰণে মই চাব লাগিব যে কি এই যোনটো স্কেয়াৰ্স ৰিসোৰ্স হয় পেট্ৰল মই ভেহিকলত বেছিকৈ ইউজ কৰিম না মেচিনত বেছিকৈ ইউজ কৰিম that will depend upon my priority that will depend upon my state of urgency যদি মোৰ কাৰণে ভেহিকলটো বেছি ইম্পৰ্টেন্ট হয় তেনে হলে মই পেট্ৰলটো মানে হে স্কেয়াৰ্স ৰিসোৰ্সটো মানে ভেহিকল ইউজ কৰিবলৈ কাৰণে ইউজ কৰিম ভেহিকলখন চলাবলৈ কাৰণে মই ইউজ কৰিম I hope alternate use junto point hoy is being cleared with you. So ami ki gom palu economic problem is nothing but problem of choice which happens because there is unlimited human one limited resources and that resources have alternative uses. Therefore we'll have to make a we'll have to make a decision which give rise to the problem of choice. Clear? I hope this much is clear with you. Now let us understand what is the meaning of economics. Let us understand what is the meaning of economics. So economics ki hoy? Economics is a social science hoy ne? So economics e ki study kore? It studies the way a society chooses to use its limited resources. Aru he limited resource kine ki ase alternative uses ase. Kihor kane choose kore? To produce goods and services. And also all produce korile nohobo distribute them among different groups of people. Here buji paisa ki koiso moi ya economics ki hoy eta social science hoy which is related to how society chooses the resources aru hebur resources junbelak scarce in nature hoy limited in nature hoy jar alternative uses ase আৰু তেওঁলোকে চুজ কৰে কিহৰ কাৰণে because they want that resources to make goods and services to produce goods and services আৰু they do not only make goods and services হয়নে অকল goods and services খিনি বনাইটো ইকোনমি নিজৰ লগত থৈ দিলে নহব it will have to also distribute them among various groups of people so economics also deals with that problem such that the resources that are that are scarce in nature and that have alternative uses are not only put to use for production of various goods and services but also it is after production it is also distributed among various groups of people. Clear? It is এই যোনটো ইকনমিক্সৰ সাবজেক্ট মেটাৰ হয় ইট ক্যান বি ডিভাইডেড ইনটু টু পাৰ্ট Number 1 microeconomics, number 2 macroeconomics. যেনেকে মই তোমালোকক কলোৱে macroeconomics আমি ক্লাস 12ত পঢ়িম হয় না সো microeconomicsত আমি কি কৈছিলো যোনটো লেটাৰ I হয় it stands for individuals. That is, it studies the economic behavior of the individual. Microeconomics of I to individual stand করে and it studies the various individual units of the economy. Clear? On the other hand, macro কি আছে এটো A আছে. Macro A কি stand করে? It stands for aggregate. তার মানে it studies the economy as a whole. Microeconomics of individual unit of the economy, but macroeconomics of A stands for aggregate, which studies the economy as a whole. Clear? So first point of difference আমি ইয়াতে পালো হয় না Point number 2, microeconomics or ami ki koru. Microeconomics is also said to be as price theory. Microeconomics is also said to be as price theory because in microeconomics we are being able to determine prices of individual units of various goods and services. Eta pricing to enekwa nohoy je aggregate price. Moi jodi eta ghori kinu eta individual unitor price hobo. Moi jodi eta pen kinu tenhole eta penor price hobo. So microeconomics help us to determine prices of individual units of goods and services in the economy, and therefore it is also said to be as price theory. On the other hand, macroeconomics ot ami ki hoy ami sao je economy khonor employment level kiman ami economy khonor income level kiman aru jedi economy khonor income buli ko it is not income of every individual, it is the average income of all the individual. Right. So, আমি যেটা income determine কৰো, when we try to determine income and employment or output in the economy, we are dealing with aggregates. We are dealing with aggregates of this value. যে কি aggregate income কিমান, aggregate employment কিমান, aggregate output কিমান. Therefore, since in macroeconomics we are concerned with learning more about aggregate income, aggregate employment, aggregate output, it also refers to as income theory. Clear? Microeconomics or price theory because it helps to determine prices of individual units of the economy, individual units of goods and services in the economy. And on the other hand, macroeconomics deals with the aggregate income, employment and output, and therefore it is also said to be as income theory. This is very much important from your examination perspective. Learn the differences and do not learn it blatantly, blindly learn kori nidiba. Try to understand the genesis of it so that you will never forget the differences. Clear? Let's move to the next slide. So now let us understand what are the various central problems of the economy. Fine. So there are 3 central problems of the economy. Habo? Aru he central problems of the economy rise kihor karne hoy because there is problem of scarcity in the economy. Aru scarcity kihor karne hoy because there is unlimited limited resource. Aru because there is scarcity, there is problem of choice. And this problem of choice give rises to 3 central problems of the economy, which is what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Fine. We will learn about these 3 problems. এই 3টা problemৰ বিষয়ে in depth আমি জানিম next class. Because আজি classটো let us stop it here. বুজি পাইছা? Let's not divert our mind. আমি যিমানখিনি আমাৰ ব্ৰেইনত সোমাই গ'ল, let's stick to that. Let's recap that. And let's understand from the very beginning যে কি আমি what is an economy, কি পাইছিলো আমি what is an economy, যে it is a system which provides us means to work and also earn a living. তাৰপিছত আমি পঢ়িছিলো যে ইকনমিক্স কিহৰ কাৰণে পঢ়িব লাগে. ইকনমিক্স আমি scarcity of resource আছে কাৰণে পঢ়িব লাগে. Scarcity of resource কিহৰ কাৰণে আছে? Human wants are unlimited, hoine? Kintu resources are limited. Therefore, it calls for economizing of resources, hoine? Aru ami ki paisu je scarcity is not the only problem. There is also a problem which lies in the fact that the resources also have alternative uses. Alternative uses মানে কি যে কি এটা রিসোর্স আমি বেলেগ বেলেগ ধৰণে ইউজ কৰিব পাৰো, গতিকে উইল হ্যাভ টু মেক চইচ বিটুইন টু which use we will make you মানে use it in, and that again depends upon the urgency of both urgency of our want, হয় না? And all this gives rise to the very problem of economic problem. So economic problem is nothing but it is the problem of choice which arises because resources are unlimited, resources are limited, human wants are unlimited, and the resources have alternative uses. Clear? Aru tare ami in details পঢ়িছিলো. Then we have come to understand যে কি আমি কিহৰ কাৰণে ইকনমিক্স টু পঢ়িম, but class 11ত আমি কিহৰ কাৰণে স্পেসিফিক্যালি মাইক্ৰোইকনমিক্স পঢ়িম. কিহৰ কাৰণে স্পেসিফিক্যালি আমি মাইক্ৰোইকনমিক্স পঢ়িম? Because microeconomics is an important subject matter of economics. Firstly, আমি economics কি হয় পঢ়ি ললো, মানে economics again involves side chooses how বেলেগ বেলেগ ধৰণৰ resource which have alternative uses and care মানে are limited in nature, কেনেকে হেবিলাকক বেলেগ বেলেগ weight use কৰিব পাৰি to produce goods and services to satisfy human wants. আৰু তাৰ দুটা সাবজেক্ট মেটাৰৰ ভিতৰত আমি ডিফাৰেন্সেছটো পঢ়িছিলো, মাইক্ৰোইকনমিক্স ইন্ডিভিজুৱেল ইউনিটস, মেক্ৰোইকনমিক্স এগ্ৰিগেটস ইন দ্য ইকনমি. Microeconomics price theory, prices of individual unit of the goods and services. Macroeconomics income theory, it determines aggregate income, employment and output in the economy. After that, we come to the topic of central problems of the economy, about which we will learn in the next class. ইয়াতে মই কৈ দিলো যে কি স্কেৰচিটি থাকা কাৰণে তোমাৰ there is problem of choice, আৰু problem of choice থাকা কাৰণে it give rises to three important central problems of the economy. And what are they? They are what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Clear? এইখিনি বস্তু in depth আমি next classত পঢ়িম. এইখিনি আমি in depth next classত পঢ়িম. But before ending the class, let me show you few previous year questions which is very much important. Aji cover kora portion tour pora let me discuss with you various previous year questions. So prothom to ase what is scarcity? Ami pohiswe. What is scarcity? It is limited resources, or limited supply of resources, or unlimited human ones. Next question, to differentiate between macroeconomics and microeconomics, very important. Moi koiswe tumalok from examination perspective. Next, explain the three central problems of the economy. We will discuss about it in the next class. Next is what do you understand by economic problem? It is a problem of choice. Jot ami junbur resources or alternative uses ase scarce hoy aru amar wants unlimited hoy, henuka dhoroner wants belak ami keneke satisfy koribo paru through the decision of making choice is nothing but economic problem. And next question is what are the various reasons for existence of economic problem? So what are the various reasons for existence of economic problem? Unlimited human wants, limited resources, and number 3, that resources not are only scarce but also have alternative uses. Fine. With this, we come to an end of today's class. I hope you are being able to cope up with me. I hope tumalake buji paisa. More main intention to hoise je ki tumalake each and every class ot ami jiman khini lage kom ke concept poro, I hope je he concept khini jate tumalokor logot clear hoy jay. That is my only intention. Feel free to get in touch with me in case of any doubt. Okay, fine. Thank you for today. Bye bye.